draw the sun with the stars and the moon. I can draw anything. How about you?
Ready, set, draw!
Hi, I'm Timothy Young. Today we're going to learn how to draw Carlos and Ignatz from my book Untitled. First we're going to draw the outlines. Then we're going to color them in, kind of like a coloring book. Ready, set, draw. I'm going to start today by drawing Carlos. He's the coatimundi, and I'm going to start by drawing some lines. Now this is a semicircle for the ear and a little one in here. Now a coatimundi is a relative of a raccoon, and here's his hair, and here's his other ear, which is also a semicircle. You can draw a very rough line. It doesn't have to be very, very smooth. It can be a lot of dots, because this is a furry animal, and so it kind of looks like fur when you draw a line like this. So I'm just kind of rough this in, and this you can do the same until we get to a point. And this is where you draw his nose. And his nose is kind of an oval shape. And then you draw another little oval shape inside there and darken it in with some lines, and that's his kind of little pointy nose. The next thing we're going to do is draw the eyes. And there's one oval here and one oval here, slightly smaller. And then you can draw small circles up here, and again, fill them in with some lines. They don't have to be solid. Right above his eyes, you can draw a couple of squiggly lines, and those are his eyebrows. Then we'll do his mouth. Now he's going to have a big smile, and again, it doesn't have to be a very straight line. You can draw kind of a squiggly line here, and we'll connect those two here, and we'll just add another little line there, and that gives him a nice smile line. Then we'll finish his chin, and then we can start on his body. So I'm going to start on his left side and kind of, again, bring my squiggly line down, and that's going to be his elbow. And there's another line for his arm. And we're going to put his hand. His hand is going to be resting on his hip. So we're going to bring this around here for one finger, and we'll kind of finish off his hand. Then you can add another finger and another finger. And there's his hand resting on his hip. So we'll bring this line down here. And again, just very rough, because this is a fuzzy animal. And then maybe over here, we'll bring his bottom around. And from here, let's start on his legs. So I'm going to bring this line down here, and another rough line down here, a little bit curved for his leg. And we'll bring kind of a semicircle around here for his foot, and then he needs 3 toes. So we'll give him one toe here, and one toe there, and another toe right there. So they're just another series of little semicircles. And his other leg, because of the way he's standing, I like to curve it in the other direction. And you can curve this side up this way and connect some lines. Again, you don't have to worry too much. Like if you feel like you're, making a bit of a mistake, it doesn't matter, because these are really rough lines. So you can hide a lot of stuff. So there's one toe, and there's his other toe, and another semicircle there. Then he needs his other arm, and this arm is going to be up waving. So we're going to bring that one up here, and we're going to add a thumb. And so that's almost a circle, but it doesn't quite finish. And then you bring some more, almost like hot dog shapes up here for his fingers. And a semicircle here, and maybe a little line there and a little line there. And there's his hand. And let's finish his arm with that line. Carlos has a really, really long tail, and it's a very wiggly tail. You never know where it's going to go. So let's just kind of make a long, wavy line. And when we figure we want to get to an end, we'll just add a semicircle there. And then we match that line. We can make it a little bit thicker near his body. And just kind of follow the other line along, again with a rough line. Carlos is really a bunch of wiggly lines. You don't have to be very, very clean with your lines. You can be as messy as you want to be. And you just wiggle the pen or the marker as you're moving along. And that gives a nice rough shape. Now, Ignatz is a capybara. And a capybara is the world's largest rodent. And Ignatz's head, it's kind of like a rounded off rectangle. It's a little bit bigger in the front than it is in the back. And then we're going to add a little, very small, he's got very small ears, very small semicircle there. And we'll give him a little bit of fur on top of his head. And then his other ear just kind of poking out of the back there. And he's got this little nose here that's kind of wide, unlike Carlos's nose. His nose is kind of flat on his face. And he has a little line that comes down here. And he's also going to be smiling. We're going to give a little curved line there, and then we're going to make his teeth, and his mouth is going to be a little bit open. And there's a line for his tongue right there. Ignatz, you only ever see one of his eyes because a capybara's eyes are kind of on the side of his head. So there's an oval right there, and then a little circle up there. And we'll color that in a little bit. And then you can, again, add a little squiggly line there for his eyebrow. Now, Ignatz is a little bit heavier than Carlos. So we're going to make his belly a big curved line here. And then we'll bring it around to about there. And then we're going to start his back up here. We're going to have one of his arms start coming out this way. So a slightly curved line here. And a slightly curved line there. And then again, a hand. So he needs a thumb, and that's one sausage. And we'll start coming down here for one of his fingers, and there's another sausage right there. And then another one following that. And then maybe this little one poking out a little bit there. And another semicircle. And there's that hand. We're going to finish bringing his back down from behind his arm with that line there. And then we'll bring this curved line around here. And then let's start his leg. This front leg is a little curve. Again, a very, very rough, squiggly kind of line. Doesn't have to be clean at all. And now we'll do his feet. And this is almost a whole half circle there. And another little circle for one toe. I like mammal toes because they're so simple to make little curved lines there. Now we'll do his back leg. We'll do that here, and it kind of matches his front leg. So we'll do a little semicircle there, and a bigger one back here. Here's his other toe, and then his third toe. Now he needs one more hand, and he's going to be given a thumbs up. So let's give his thumb way up here. And then you want 3 little sausage shapes. 1, 2, 3. And then a little semicircle here, little line there, and we're almost finished. And here is Ignatz's outline. Now we're going to go to color. So we're going to start with Carlos. His color is a light brown or tan. Coatimundis have a really interesting coloring. They kind of are very light furred just on their face here. Now I'm using brush markers, which are, a lot of fun to use. And they're not that hard to control. You can use any type of marker that you like, or crayons or colored pencils, whatever you feel comfortable with. So there's part of his coloring there, the lighter part, and he's got a little bit light part on his chest, so I'm just going to indicate that there. And then he's kind of a reddish brown all over. All right, we're we're going to go right there. Here's his reddish fur. And it kind of comes up just behind the lighter fur here. And then his body. And I like to kind of make my strokes in the direction that the fur would go on the body. So it goes down his arm and down to his fingers. And then we can continue down here. And you don't have to be too worried about whether you go outside the lines a little bit, because fur kind of goes all over the place anyway. And that will go down this leg here. And we'll color this leg. And at this point, it's kind of just, you know, like doing a coloring book. You're just filling in the spaces. So there's that hand. We're going to give his nose a little bit of color too, and his eyes. And then his tail, and in a second I'll show you the fun part of his tail. Just a little bit more. And there's his base color. A coatimundi has dark parts too, like right at the point where the reddish color meets the tan color, there's a little stripe of dark color. And over here, there's another one. And his paws, or his hand and his feet, are also a little bit darker. So we'll just make those a little bit darker. And his feet the same way, up to about his knees. So there's that. And then his tail has stripes. So we're going to start at the tip and make that one dark, and then come down just a little bit and do another stripe, and another stripe, and another stripe. And I don't know exactly how many stripes there are. I think in each drawing that I do of Carlos, he doesn't have the same number of stripes. And there we go. There's Carlos in all his color. We can move on to Ignatz's color. Now, Ignatz is a little bit more tan than reddish. And again, I'm just kind of making the lines in the direction that the fur would go. I really like these brush markers. You can get these pretty much anywhere, and they're not that expensive. They're fun to work with because the nib on the marker is very flexible. And now down his leg. And there's one foot. There's that hand. And now we're going to use a darker brown. We're going to color around his nose, and maybe a little color under his chin to kind of shade him a little bit. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to use the same dark color that I used on Carlos, just to color in his nose and his eye. And then I have one more color I want to use. I have this pink over here, just to give his tongue a little bit of color. Take a gray marker and I make a little shadow under each of them. And first I use a lighter gray to make a bigger shadow, and then a slightly darker gray and in the middle. And here they are, Carlos and Ignatz. Now you know how to draw Carlos and Ignatz from Untitled. I can't wait to see your drawings. Bye!